As the global economies recover from coronavirus lockdown-induced slowdowns, another major problem they're battling now is rising inflation. The world's largest economy, the United States, had witnessed its biggest gain in inflation in the last 30 years. US consumer prices surged 6.2% compared to the same month last year. It was the largest annual jump in the consumer price index since 1990. The surge has been driven by increases in gasoline, automobiles and food prices. Analysts fear inflation could remain uncomfortably high well into next year. US President Joe Biden said fighting inflation is his administration's top priority.
Today's economic report showing unemployment continued to fall, but consumer prices remain too high. Tell us, the American people, in the midst of this economic crisis, the recovery is showing strong results, but not to them. They're still looking out there. Everything from a gallon of gas to a loaf of bread costs more, and it's worrisome, even though wages are going up.
The world's largest economy is recovering from the pandemic downturn last year. It's also struggling with scarce labour and supply chain issues that have driven prices higher. Experts say inflation is eroding the strong gains in wages and salaries that have come to American workers in recent months.
Gas prices are outrageous. They're holding up all these boats in the water, they say, not letting them come in the port. But people are suffering, especially people in middle class and low class cannot afford to be paying gas prices of $4. Soon it'll be $4.
I think that the, particularly like the meats, they've been inching up over the last few months. Gas prices today are ridiculous, all right, in that, you know, what I think I saw, I was on the New Jersey Turnpike and it was $4.14. So I decided, just for premium, so I decided to drive to Delaware, right? And in Delaware, I think it was like 10 cents more, you know, so you just get it and you keep moving.
So in the holiday season, you know, we're still seeing some things that aren't going up in price, like apparel. We are seeing things that are going up in price, again, like furnishings. In general, on average, if your holiday shopping list is focused on imported goods, you're probably going to be paying higher prices.
While Biden argues that the increases are temporary, rising inflation has given his opponents a potent counter-argument to the spending plans that he's staking his presidency on. For more on this, we can cross live to Susan Tarani, who's joining us from New York City. Well, Susan, Joe Biden, he's facing yet another domestic challenge, with prices soaring and his approval rating at the same time dipping. How is the Biden administration, do you think, planning to try and tackle this latest challenge?
Well, once again, Joe Biden is betting on another spending bill, and he's banking on his Build Back Better plan. He claims that, first of all, 17 Nobel Prize laureates say that this plan is going to lower inflation. He says by reducing child care and affordable health care and cutting taxes for Americans, this plan is going to help Americans and the United States go back on track. But however, if his previous spending plan is any indication, that really wasn't the case. If you remember, after injecting about $4 trillion in COVID relief during the Trump administration, the Biden administration came right after, despite seeing signs of economic recovery, and injected $1.9 trillion into the economy and distributed checks to the population. And some argue that that extra check provided an incentive for people to not go back to work, and the economy started to improve. And then we saw a shortage in the workforce, small businesses going back to work, higher prices to try to pay and fix the gap of cost and supply and demand. And then here we are. And then, you know, we heard about the inflation. Everything is related to energy prices. On the one hand, this administration wants to cut on the production of U.S. drilling. A lot of the workforce in the United States relies on gas pipelines. On the other hand, it's begging OPEC to produce more oil. So, these are some of the main problems that we're facing right now, and perhaps the mismanagement and the policies, the progressive policies that this administration is putting forward is causing the catastrophe that we're seeing right now, one that we haven't seen in the last 31 years. And again, the administration is focusing on another spending bill. That's what they see as the way out. And I think the elections that we saw last week in Virginia and elsewhere tilting towards Republicans is an indication that it might not be the right path to go.
Well, absolutely. And look, Susan, we've got Thanksgiving and Christmas. They're just around the corner here in the US. But of course, rising inflation, it could dampen the holiday season. What can you tell us about the mood among the people and how they're feeling as we head into that holiday season time?
It's absolutely devastating. I think people are just, first of all, exhausted coming out of the COVID pandemic. They were looking forward to a holiday season that was perhaps a little more festive. First, a few months back, we had Anthony Fauci making headlines saying that people can't gather together because of COVID restrictions. The White House sort of went back and downturned that. And then now people go to the grocery stores and they see that they can't really rely on the basic staples of what's very important for Americans, and that's Thanksgiving dinner, that's Christmas dinner, and then the gifts that they want to buy for their children and their families. I mean, the prices are really staggering when you look at it. And you talk to people and you say what's most important to them, and they really talk about the basic needs. And what they don't talk about in terms of what is the most important aspect of life to them is climate change. And that's something that this administration has constantly been focusing on. So with the mandates, with climate change, with focus on issues that is really not important to Americans right now, the administration seems out of touch. The mood is dampened around the holiday season. And then, again, coming back and going to the gas pump and coming home, that's just another aspect that has really left many Americans with a big question mark. You have to remember, a lot of people can't just sit on Zoom and do their work. Many Americans really need to get in a car and go to work. And this sense of uncertainty has left this administration in a really bad place, and Americans in a sense of uncertainty. I don't think they're looking for a handout from the government. They really want to get back to work and be able to go to the store and buy their kids' toys and sit around the Thanksgiving table with their families and just have a regular life.
Thank you, Susan, for that update and that analysis. That was Susan Tehrani joining us live from New York City.